entrenched over thousands of lifetimes, make liberating ourselves solely by our own efforts almost impossible. He knew that to end one's problems and attain lasting happiness, many people would need the help of another Buddha, Amitabha, the Buddha of infinite light and infinite life. Almost all of the teachings by Sakyamuni were the result of his being asked a question in a departure from the norm, and when the time was right. Sakyamuni initiated the teaching that introduced Amitabha and his Pure Land. This spontaneous teaching by Sakyamuni is one of the reasons this teaching is so special. In this teaching, Sakyamuni recounted how the Bodhisattva Dharmakara, after witnessing the suffering of sentient beings, spent 5 eons studying all the Buddha lands. Dharmakara then made 48 vows, the fulfillment of which would create the Western Pure Land of ultimate bliss. He declared that he would not attain Buddhahood unless his vows for a perfect Pure Land, where all beings would advance along the Buddhist path and never again fall back into samsara, were accomplished. Once his vows were accomplished, Dharmakara Bodhisattva became Amitabha Buddha. He is now speaking the Dharma in his Pure Land and helping all who are truly sincere in their vows to be reborn there. With help from Amitabha, we do not have to rely solely on ourselves to attain enlightenment as we would with other methods. In Pure Land Buddhism, we rely on the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas to help us. Thus, reliance on self and on another are combined as we request by way of our mindful chanting that Amitabha Buddha, through the strength of his vows, help us to be reborn in the Pure Land as we breathe our last breath in our present body. Amitabha also vowed that once we attain this rebirth, we will always progress in our practice and learning. We will be able to continue our practice in the Pure Land, or, when we choose to, return to this and other worlds to help others. We do so without being affected by unfavorable environments or our former bad habits. If we wish, we will be able to do this before we attain supreme enlightenment. Amitabha Buddha's Pure Land has innumerable wonders and advantages, all of which arise from the great vows, deeds, and purity of all the beings there. Through his vows, Amitabha helps all beings create the causes to plant the roots of goodness. With his deeds, he creates the conditions for beings to accumulate merit. With his purity, he has created a pure land, one that is free from pollution, anger, and intolerance. It is a land of peace and serenity. It is a world of equality, joy, and beauty. In comparison, our world is one of delusion and suffering, filled with worry and anxiety and fear. For countless people, Pure Land practice is the most suitable for several reasons. First, it is relatively easy to practice in almost any environment, alone, with other practitioners, or even amid everyday life. Second, there are no difficult entry-level criteria. Even if one's abilities and knowledge are modest, with belief, vows, and practice, we will be reborn in the Pure Land. Belief means that we need to believe in the Buddhas and their teachings, and in causality. We need to believe in ourselves, and that we have the same true nature as the Buddha. We need to believe that by living a moral life and by being mindful of Amitabha Buddha, we will be reborn into the Western Pure Land and become a Buddha in one lifetime. And third, due to the vows of Amitabha, achievement through this method can be attained more quickly and easily than with other practices. We can understand this better through an analogy. We come to a river that we wish to cross. We can swim across, but our baggage is very heavy and the water is treacherously deep. Alternatively, we can get on a boat that will quickly and safely take us and our baggage to the other shore. Symbolically, the other shore is the achievement of enlightenment. The baggage we carry is our deep-seated bad habits and negative karmas accumulated over uncountable lifetimes. And the boat is Amitabha Buddha's compassionate will. The ticket to board the boat is belief, the sincere vow to be reborn in the Pure Land, and practice, which includes leading a moral life and mindfully chanting Amitabha. The simplest way to practice Pure Land is by chanting Amitabha. Amitabha is the name of Amitabha Buddha in Chinese. It does not matter whether we chant in Chinese or any other language, as long as we do it properly. When we chant, the sound of Amitabha arises in our minds. and as we utter Amitabha, our minds concentrate on and embrace that sound. While chanting, do so sincerely and continuously. As one keeps chanting and the mind focuses on the sound of Amitabha, errant thoughts are replaced with pure thoughts. In this way, we also create less negative karma. After Amitabha has been in our mind continuously for a long time, our true nature, our Buddha nature, will gradually be uncovered. Amitabha Buddha is the wise and compassionate teacher who understands everything and is always thinking of us, lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. We are the students who are trying to learn and practice. Just as a good teacher listens to the calls of help from a student who is looking for the right answers and for help. If we have unwavering belief, vow to be reborn in the Pure Land, and behave morally and sincerely practice, Amitabha will respond. He is like the mother who always thinks of her child. If the child does not in turn think of his mother, her thoughts will not help. But if he also thinks of her, they will eventually be reunited. In such a way, Amitabha is always thinking of us, waiting for our thoughts to turn to him so that we may come together. When we chant to the point of single-mindedness with the sole thought of Amitabha, we successfully form a connection with him. In fact, we become one with him. In that instant, we are in the Pure Land, far to the west and deep within us. As we breathe our last breath in this world, if we can form this connection, this oneness with Amitabha, we will attain our next rebirth in the Western Pure Land, and we will leave suffering behind. Once there, we will have all the time we need to continue our practice and learning, for we will be in the company of Amitabha Buddha and all the bodhisattvas who are there. They will help us learn all the ways to wisely and compassionately help all beings. This is why I have chosen the Pure Land path. For me, it is the most suitable. It feels absolutely right. The old monk, in the beginning of this book, summarized the teaching of the Buddha as: avoid all that is evil, embrace all that is good, and purify one's mind. How? find a new way, awaken to a new approach. At every moment of our lives, we have a choice. Everything we do will impact others. Everything will eventually come back to us, full circle. We can continue to act based on our erratic thoughts and be pulled frantically one way and then another. Or we can calm our mind and broaden our heart with compassion, discipline, concentration, and wisdom. We can discover the innate goodness that is already within each of us. We can awaken to the Buddha within. Amitabha. Please repeat the dedication of merit after me. May the merits and virtues accrued from this work adorn the Buddha's pure land, repay the four kindnesses above, and relieve the suffering of those in the three realms below. May all those who see or hear of this bring forth the heart of compassion and understanding. And at the end of this life, be born together in the land of ultimate bliss. Namo Amitabha.
三宝弟子等，愿以此功德回向病者 Evelyn Bolander， 减轻他多生今生三业障，众业轻受，轻业平安，解冤解结，离苦得乐，破迷开悟，发菩提心，一向专念阿弥陀佛，同生净土，同源种智。南无阿弥陀佛。解 大慈大悲。阿弥陀佛，南无阿弥陀佛，南无阿弥陀佛，南无阿弥陀佛，南无阿弥陀佛，南无阿弥陀佛，南无阿弥陀佛，南无阿弥陀佛。阿弥陀佛，南无阿弥陀佛，阿弥陀佛，阿弥陀佛，阿弥陀佛，阿弥陀佛，阿弥陀佛，阿弥陀佛，阿弥陀佛，阿弥陀佛，阿弥陀佛，阿弥陀